Hello, good morning. It's a beautiful, beautiful Friday morning, and I am truly excited to be on the Breakfast Express show this morning. Except that, somehow I was a bit ruffled, when I ran into terrible traffic along the Ojodu Burger axis, when I was coming out from um, Ishasi Road, the plan was to turn to my right and then make a U-turn, hit the express, and come to work. Um, but unfortunately, as we came out, we looked at the route that I was supposed to take, and it was totally, totally blocked. So I said to my driver, I said, you know what, let's go through Agidingbi. So we go all the way down, turn to the left, and then we're on Agidingbi, which is really not the best route for us, if you ask me. It's not the faster one. The roads are not very good. And but I said, we don't have a choice. We're in between the devil and the deep blue sea. So we gave it a shot. And as soon as we turned onto Agidingbi, it was hell. And something said to me that there must be a problem either on the Otedola Bridge or on Kara Bridge or on the Ibadan Expressway, which has spread, into the inner roads. And that's what may be affecting me, coming to work. And then I decide to send a text to, my OD and to my co-presenter, Okpeyemi Akiode. I sent him a message, and then the response I get is that he is stuck in traffic too. There are no buses. Okadas are charging 3,000 naira, and so on and so forth. And I come into the studio and I'm being told that there's a problem on Kara Bridge. And you can see it's really clear that, there is a huge problem. And so, getting to work is extremely difficult because there's only one way in and one way out. And we can't ask people not to live where they can afford. It's unfortunate that we are in a country where even when there's so much time to be proactive, absolutely nothing is being done. Okay, this is the part where I'm supposed to be welcoming you to the program. So welcome to the Breakfast Express show. We'll take a quick break right now, and when we return, before we look into the newspapers, I will come back, to discuss this traffic because it is the one thing that is in the shoe that is pinching me. So please don't go anywhere. It's still the Breakfast Express show. My name is Tom Adirele. It's a delight to be here and a delight to say welcome.
There are stories that make the heart race. Where love is born in the most dangerous moments.
Ali was actually Poyraz Ali.
Each secret can destroy everything. Love. Passion. Power. Lies.
It's not the first time you let me down. It was my mistake for trusting an idiot like you.
The dramas that make you feel everything. Catch the sizzling episodes of Sins and Roses at 4 p.m, Domenica Monteiro at 5 p.m, Be My Sunshine at 6 p.m, and Avenida Brazil at 7 p.m, Central African Time. Only on Novelas Plus.
Well, you're welcome back to the Breakfast Express show. Still on the matter of traffic, the matter of this Lagos Ibadan Expressway. On, going towards Ibadan and coming from Lagos. Anyway, we really, it's always a huge, challenge for residents. People who live in Areco. Let me start from the, what do you call it, this estate where you have channels television, Isheri. Let's start from Isheri, Arepo, Magboro, Ibafo, Mowe, on and on and on and on. It's always a huge challenge, and that's not a good thing. When people wake up in the morning, as Okwe always says, bright and early, looking forward to come to work, to earn the day's pay. And something that really really can be avoided is stopping you from going to work. That's not a good thing. It's not anything we should be proud of in the country. And like I say, the watchword is just being proactive. We have these roads beside the expressway, and I've always advocated that these roads are made, like an escape route, alternative routes to be able to beat traffic on the expressway. So if, for example, there's no accident, but you have to undergo road repairs, people don't get frustrated. There's always a way out. But why does it take me? Why does it take, the people who don't have this power, the people who can't put pen to paper, to say this is the way it should be and this is how it will be? Why does it take me? Why does it take the common man, the masses in Nigeria? Why should it take us to recommend, to suggest? And guess what? Even when we do, it's not as if the powers that be don't know these things. They are even that they are that intelligent. They can see these things. Reports have reached them. These things can be done. But rather than use our common wealth, to ensure the comfort of the people in Nigeria, it's just being used, with reckless abandon. So what is priority to me is not priority to some other person, is not priority to our leaders, even after they took an oath, to ensure that they protect us, our lives and our property. Now, protecting our lives, what does that really mean? It means that, we are safe in terms of shelter, we have food to eat, we're properly clothed, and all of these things. We don't spend our productive time on the roads in traffic. All of this, adds up to ensuring that, our lives are safe. Because even while in traffic, you are exposed to attack. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people who don't have jobs and have decided to take that option as the better option for them. And so what they do is they knock on people's windows, break people's windows, ask them for their phones, hurt them, maybe use a knife or something. It's quite unfortunate. So where is the protection of lives and property that we were promised by, whether at the local government, state or federal levels? Where is all of that? It's almost non-existent. Can we look at that traffic again? That's where my colleague is stuck. By now, we should have introduced Okweyemi, but we cannot introduce him because Okweyemi is stuck in traffic. I mean, can we see where Okweyemi is right now? Quite unfortunate. And I tried to reach him to say, where are you right now? And he says that he's still stuck in traffic. They haven't made any progress so far. Okay, I have just been able to connect Okweyemi. Oh my, I think I lost him. Oh, he says he's on a bike, so he's flying the roads through to work. I'm not happy to say this. I'm actually not happy. It's quite depressing, to know that he has to be on a bike all the way from Magboro to MITV. First of all, the risks involved are too many, but he has to do it because he wants to be at work. So now it's I think it's the right time to call on the government. What exactly are we doing? It's a federal thing, really, but of course, it can be escalated by the state government. I think Kara is the borderline Ogun State stroke Lagos State. So I would like to seize this opportunity to appeal to the Lagos State governor to please intervene, if he can and when he can, because I think that's the governor that I would like to communicate with for obvious reasons. Because I've often said on this table that this man, is a working governor. We've seen the things that he's done, and we're hoping that when we cry out like this to him, who's supposed to be the father of all of us, who, whether we work in Lagos State or we reside in Lagos State or we're from Lagos State, he's supposed to be the father of all of us. So at times like this, where we cry and say, we need some sort of intervention, we hope that something will be done. So we're calling on the Lagos State governor to please, help us ensure that, what needs to be done is done. Take it through whichever route is supposed to be taken through, do all the protocol, and all of that. I tried to reach Okwayemi, and I think I am. Yeah, Okwayemi, good morning. I'm very well, thank you. I'm so sorry for what you're going through this morning. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So I'm actually at the accident scene now. It's on the inward side of the Ghana bridge, directly in front of the Chinese company. So it's an accident involving two trucks. One is carrying paint, bucket loads of paint, and the other is still at the moment. Of course, there are traffic controls. There's a towing truck on the other side. Plus, the road is closed. So the only side of the road that can be used is actually only open to small cars. And because of the accident, vehicles have now passed one way. So both sides of the bridge that is supposed to come into Berger is blocked at the moment because vehicles, trucks and cars are both passed one way. So it's an absolute chaos at the moment. And I don't know, I'm sure the officers are even helpless. There are traffic controls, there's less one here. But at the moment, they have to offload everything on both trucks before they can move them even to any side of the road at the moment.
Okay, are you able to do any recording, that you can send to us, since you are the scene?
I'll send you pictures and videos.
Okay.
In a few seconds. So I'm sure that the guys will be able to upload it and tell us the state of things in the moment. But right now, it's standstill. Going in, it's absolutely locked down. Coming into Lagos is also locked down. And the reason coming into Lagos is locked down is obviously because trucks and cars and everyone are going to pass the one way. So at the moment, coming in, going in, it's blocked. And commuters and people going to work have had to trek long distances just to get to the other side of the road on the street. So I'm sure that inward Lagos from the other lane, I'm sure the traffic will have gotten to maybe Ketu, Ojota, or Seminar. Shortly just by my side, is telling me that it has gone far, it has gotten to the and of course, the one coming in from Lagos to Badoo Expressway and also going beyond Oakwood, it is far into the Long Bridge, into the car, and into the axis of the road as well. So it's an absolute chaos at the moment.
Well, I came in from Isashi, and coming to the Ojodu Berger Road was totally blocked. I was wondering what was going on until I got to work. I sent you a message that I was stuck in traffic, but when I got to work, that's when I heard that there was a problem on Kara Bridge, and my mind went straight to you. I quickly, went to see if you dropped something on the platform. I did see what you dropped, and I kind of became worried. However, if you can do this picture taking and video recording sent
Yes,
to us,
I,
we would be
yes.
grateful, and we would still be expecting you, to come to work so that you can give, a blow to blow account, since you experienced it
I
yourself.
would,
Okay.
I would actually be close to the office. If not that I have to stop to give live reports on the sports reports of what's going on. I'll try my best to make it to the office this morning. I'll try.
All right, all right. We'll be expecting you. Well done, and sorry for the inconvenience that you're going through. We hope that after this, the government will be proactive to do something. But before you
Yes.
go off,
And I,
Okwe, what do you
let me
think?
also check the,
Yeah, yeah, I'm
go on,
listening.
go on, go on, I can tell you.
Okay, so what do you also think would be a solution, to these constant, roadblocks, accidents, whatever, breakdowns, road repairs, for people who live in that axis?
You see, this particular sport has been a constant chaos on this axis, almost on weekly basis. Just on Wednesday, there was another accident here as well that led to backlog of traffic. So, first of all, I think the emergency accident and emergency response of the state government at the moment is extremely poor. We've seen times where accidents would happen on this same axis, and trucks or container trucks involved with accidents will be left there for days. We've had instances where we've also called in when we see dead bodies on the bridge and it will be there for days, and we'll have to call the government to come and respond. I think the emergency response of the state, because this place is actually of the state, but you can actually see LASMA, which is from the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, but this axis is actually of the state. So I think the state government needs to up their emergency response again. And secondly, there's when you're coming in from Berger, sliding into the Long Bridge, there's a slope, so
Yeah.
sometimes these heavy trucks are always coming in high speed. If you look at most of the rail guards on this bridge, most of them are damaged because accidents have happened over and over again. Trucks are falling into the water. Trucks have had to touch both sides of the road. So if you look at all of the rail guards, they are absolutely damaged at the moment. And that's because there's been constant accident happening in this particular axis. So I don't know what the government can do. At the moment, I'm not sure there's a way they can have a road diversion where they will stop the heavy-duty trucks, because this is the only major road that comes in from Ibadan, from Ekiti, from Akure. In fact, this is the major road that
From
connects
Abuja,
Lagos.
from everywhere, from the north, everywhere.
Exactly. So one would expect that development should at this point make government creative to look for alternatives, because at the moment there's almost nothing the government can do to remedy the situation on a short fix. Because even when this bridge is under any minor repair, it's always chaos. People spend hours, 6 hours, 7 hours on this traffic because there's no alternative route on this particular axis. So when you have a major road like Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and there's no alternative route, it's a major problem. So, and it's a federal road actually. So the federal government would have to act, and of course these have to come from moves made by the state government. These roads need absolute maintenance. The bridges are in deplorable condition. We are almost scared that even the breakers on the bridge, the depth of potholes in between those breakers cannot even make you run on an expressway, which are supposed to speed on a normal day. So I think the government would have to do something about this. For now, you cannot stop the heavy trucks from coming in, because this is the only road that connects them into Lagos and takes them out of Lagos. The government just have to do something about it. I'm sure that's why we voted them into office. They should think and look for solutions to this constant problem that costs people hours and hours of their productive time and days.
Well, Okwayemi, thank you. I think you've spoken well, and I think even though you're not on the table with me this morning, we are on the same page. Some of the things that you said, are exactly the things I said before we got you, on the line. My recommendations were that the Ogun State government, should be doing something about this, whether it's the federal government, but they should be the ones to escalate. And my fear is that because I know that in terms of response to things like this, the Ogun State government is very slow, and in many other things, there is a huge challenge for me. But because it is close to Lagos, I have reached out to the Lagos State governor in an appeal to ask him to please escalate it, perhaps through the Ogun State governor, Ogun State to the federal, because you and I know exactly what's going on. And in your report, quite rightly, you said LASMA officials are in sight, but the Ogun State traffic officials are nowhere to be found. These are some of the things we complain about when on air, and people think that one is just coming up against the Ogun State governor. I have absolutely nothing against him, but you see, when somebody takes an oath, to protect us and give us a better life, and he's not doing that, then it is my job to sit here on the table and say that, we are not getting what we expect from the Ogun State governor, unfortunately. Okwe, I am so pained that you have to go through this, but,
So,
yes.
for people using the roads, we have to respect road users. So, you can hear the blood of Sarin. That is a government official. Those are vehicles of Nigerian Customs Service flying the one way and speeding and driving against the traffic. Those are, professional vehicles of the Nigerian Customs Service driving driving against traffic and moving at top speed. And I think these are the concerns that we need to look into. If you're passing one way because there's an accident, you have to understand that you don't have the right of that way. So you cannot be speeding and be prosecuting nuisance on the way. If you're passing the one way, you have to know that you're driving against traffic. There are people that may want to cross, and then you probably put their life at risk. In my attempt to cross to this side this morning, I was hit on the left by an unrushing bike. And they were not even looking at where they're going to. So a lot needs to be done here. And then I'm seeing federal road safety now. The officials are arriving. I mean, they're working in a commando stand, trying to understand what's going on. But the men of the federal road safety corps have just arrived here now, and I'm sure that they will find something around this. They'll find something around this. I just want to appeal to people that are driving against traffic because of this, accident. Please respect road users, and we beg you to do the right thing.
Well, these were some of the things we discussed on the program yesterday. The insensitivity of, our leaders, especially, some of our security officers and so on and so forth. We expect a whole lot more, but, every time they keep hitting us below the belt in the kind of display, public display that they make. This is quite unfortunate when people are going through a lot of stress and a lot of, some people are angry and they're doing this kind of things when they should be getting down from their vehicles to see how they can ease the traffic. It's quite unfortunate. It's quite sad. We need to get it right in Nigeria. Okwe will be expecting the report. We expect you also to still make it to the studio by the grace of God, and so that we can do a thorough X-ray on exactly what's going on, and we can prefer some solutions to governments if they don't know.
I will join you soon, so I'll try my best to be here.
All right, thank you so much, Okwe, for your time. And again, I'm sorry for what you're going through, especially being hit on the lap by an Okada. It could have been worse, but thank God that you're still alive. Thank you so much, Okwe. All right, I think we have a caller on the line. Let's take this call before we proceed. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus. Okay, we actually lost that caller. So much for the traffic on Kara Bridge. Okwe just, said exactly, he hit the nail on the head. He said almost exactly what I had said in his absence, because certain things, are just common knowledge, if you ask me. Hello? Common knowledge, that's what it is. Common knowledge, as common as common. common knowledge. Hello. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus. What's your name, sir? And where are you calling from? Sir? Okay, Mr. Larry from Ojudu. Can you speak a little louder so we can hear you, please? Okay, we lost that caller. That's what we go through on a daily basis. You know, getting to work, the dedication, the passion for what we do, and while some people are suffering, some people are smiling. Fela had said this many years ago. You know, some people call him the prophet, you know, of his time, because almost everything that he sung, you know, has has come to pass. People are working, sweating. Um, Hustling to get to work on okadas, in buses, stuck, you know, and they're lamenting while some people think that they're better than these people because they have the privilege of being, you know, in a vehicle that has a siren, and they also have the privilege of having, you know, junior officers, subordinates, you know, attend to them, clear the roads for them, and they think that, you know, that is the heaven on earth. We need to understand the meaning of leadership. We need to go back to the drawing boards in every area, every single area, whether it's corporate, whether it's government, whether it's private. We need to understand what it means to be a leader. When you are a leader, you make sure that you're a good leader through and through. So much has been said about that. Perhaps we need to take a little break, 1 minute break. We have a caller on the line. Let's see if we can take this call, all well and good. Otherwise, we'll take a break and we will return to continue the newspapers. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my sister. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
My name is Edusa Sija.
Yes, welcome to the show this morning. Go ahead and make your contribution, sir.
I just listened to Okwe and I felt pity for him, you know.
Yeah, yes.
That's just one of the things that everybody in this house is face. Do you know the origin of all this we are facing in Nigeria as a whole? When you don't allow people to choose their leader, you impose leaders on people. This is the result of what we're having about. Between you and I, we know if all of us is claiming that APC government, let's use Tinubu as a head, has failed Nigeria, that is more than a failure. I don't know the language we use to describe him. He has never contributed anything positive for people here. From years back, he has been there. When you don't allow people to choose who they want, who want to govern them, this is the reality of it. This is the reality. It can even shock you now. All this, what we call it, fire service you are seeing around that place, there is no single water in those tanks. There is no, those vehicles are not even functioning that you are seeing the painted in that place. It's not working. God forbid there's another fire accident. Lagos State have to respond. This is the situation we are facing. We have not started, we have not even started yet. Yesterday, I make a complaint or I make a resolution, and it's not allegation, it's already everywhere on the social media and newspaper, that somebody have to, 780 million was budgeted to what? For churches. How I've spent over 50 years of my life in Nigeria. I've never seen we're going from the military era that millions of naira will be budgeted for churches. Look at today. Yesterday, another one came up again. How 22.6 billion was budgeted in Nigerian budget to renovate and construct palaces for kings and the rest. Where are we going to in this country? Look at Nigerians on the road. Look at Nigeria on the road. Spending hours on the road. Getting to work at what time? Okwe is on the road. Because it's involved Okwe, it is easy for everybody to see across board. If the other person, for example, does not have access to studio to make this kind of elevation, maybe we just see on the road and just pass by. Nobody talk about it. It's unfortunate. Let's go into newspaper review. I will get back to it and see what we are going to do. What I'm continuing to say, let this government allow us. Let it allow us to choose our leader. They shouldn't force leaders on us. Don't they allow us to choose our leaders? The country we are going through today is enough. Enough is enough. It is up to our truth now. We have to choose our leaders. That is the truth. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much for this call at the nick of time. You know, our caller, you know, I must say this, is part of the Breakfast Express show. And, you know, we will get to a point one day where we start to invite some of our regular callers, you know, to come and sit on the table with us and do a proper analysis of the newspaper review. It will be such an interesting thing to be able to put a face to, you know, to the voice and to the name. I'm sure we will get to that stage on the Breakfast Express show. You know, however, he's made the same point, you know, that we keep making every single day. I'm sure we talked about this yesterday. We're talking about it today. We talked about it a month ago, and on and on and on like that. The calls keep coming in. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Breakfast Express show. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Your name is what?
Esther from Ikeja.
From Ikeja. Yes, I like this voice now. It's a bit loud and we can hear it. Okay, Esther, thank you for calling. You're the first female in a couple of days. What is your contribution?
Yeah, I wanted to ask the contribution.
Okay, ask a question.
So I wanted to ask, I don't do politics things, I wanted to ask a question. I don't know. Are we the one hearing our complaints? Are we complaining to ourselves? Those things we're doing every day, we are saying every day. Politicians hearing those reports and complaining. I don't listen to this program because I want to know if they are caring. I think we are the ones telling ourselves our problems, reminding ourselves our problems every day. They are not saying it. I want to know if they have access to this program. So that's what I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther. I think that's a very good question and very valid as well. Yes, they watch these programs, they listen to these programs. They have media advisors who are supposed to be watching these programs. These programs also are on social media. You know, we have little bits and pieces, you know, put together, you know, which people also circulate. So yes, they get to see these things. And, you know, I am a very strong believer in the 3 Ps. Now, what are the 3 Ps? Patience, perseverance, and persistence. Patience, perseverance, and persistence. Now, let's take the persistent part of it. Now, if you keep doing the same thing, saying the same thing, saying the same thing, you think you're speaking to yourself. You think that it is us, you know, the masses, that are talking to ourselves. Sometimes we feel like that. But guess what? There's so many things that we talk about, and the next minute we see that action has been taken. So you never can tell where, you know, where they heard it from, where they watched it. You know, some of these things are up for general discussions because they're newspaper reviews. So the newspapers are the same, you know, from different media houses, you know, and what we do as broadcasters is put them in front of us and look at the headlines and review these headlines. Do you understand? And the same thing we do, other radio and television houses do as well. So you never know. Let's just keep being persistent. We want something. When you want something, you don't give up. You just keep doing it, keep saying it. Someone is going to listen. Someone who sold his conscience in the last election, who collected the 5,000 naira, who collected the bag of rice. Can you remember? You know, when they keep hearing these things, that we have the government is not doing what we want them to do, they keep hearing the same thing. Then they start to tell their consciences, you know what, this time it has to be someone that I truly believe can perform. Perhaps the same government, you know, in their opinion has done well, then they will on their own decide to vote for the government without receiving anything. Perhaps they think the government has not done well enough and, you know, they want a change. On their own, they will change. So, Esther, your question is very valid because sometimes even we who sit on this table think that, you know what, are you sure it's not an effort in futility? Are you sure it's not an effort in futility? You know, we just think that it may be a waste of time, but something else, you know, that inner strength in us keeps coming out, because we're thinking first of all about Nigerians, not about us. It's not what we think, but what is the effect it will have, you know, on Nigerians and Nigeria eventually. So we keep going and we keep going and we keep going. And you know, Esther, just keep being persistent. You will see that one day, that day will come soon. We will be able to break through. Right now, I think I'd like to call for a break. And, you know, after this break, then we would go into the newspapers. So please don't go anywhere. Just stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Breakfast Express show. I'm going to be looking at the Punch newspaper right now. Obasanjo faults Oshoba and accuses Atiku of impeachment plot. And that's for the 2003 poll. Tinubu expands army to 12 division and approves 28,000 recruits. I think that's a step in the right direction, you know, but we must be careful about the, you know, the process of recruitment. It's very important that we are sure that, first of all, the people that we are recruiting into the army are not ex-bandits, are not people who have been given this safe corridor pardon, are not bandits that have been sentenced to life imprisonment, who have been given parole. We must be very careful that they have no criminal records. I can say all of these things, just like Esther said. I can say these things, and they're easy to say. You know, talk is cheap. Now, even I, who's saying these things, would like to question myself. It's good enough to say these things, and it's easy to say these things, but the truth is, do we have a database that we can just put, you know, input something and so much information will be given to us? I don't think we do, you know. So how can we be exactly sure that whoever it is that we want to recruit in the army or into the army does not have a criminal record? I really don't know what it is, you know, but I'm just hoping that we're able to do proper background checks, you know, to ensure that the people we're asking to come and join forces with the already existing members of the armed forces to help, you know, in protecting the Nigerian citizens are not people who have questionable characters. They are not people who are insecurity in themselves, you know. Well, what the president has done, in my opinion, is a step in the right direction. Should he have done this earlier? Maybe, yes, you know, but it's better late, always better late than never. So well done to our president. Yes, we need so many more hands to ensure that we fight, insecurity. We bring it to a standstill in Nigeria, and that one day we will be able to raise our heads up high, like some countries are doing at the moment, and say, you know what, Nigeria is a country that is totally free of insecurity. We have eradicated the questionable characters, the people, banditry has been put under, kidnapping and all of that, insurgency and all these horrible things, under, that name, that title, insecurity, have been, curbed. All right, still on the Punch newspaper, I'd like to look at the banner headline, and it says, "Walkout rocks House as state police bill passes." Protest erupts over controversial House vote. House Minority Caucus insists on rethink of state police, and opposition challenges state police finding process. Now, I went to do a little research, and I have just something very little, stating that, stating the position. It says the House of Representatives approved the state police bill despite a walkout by minority members protesting procedural breaches. And it says the House of Representatives approved the state police bill despite a walkout by minority members protesting. This is actually the same thing. Okay, so what are the procedures that the minority members are saying have not been upheld is a huge question. We need to get things clear. Let me take this call. Hello? Hello? Okay, we lost the call. We cannot read the story right now, but I think we should get our acts together. There, processes and procedures that we need to have observed before, passing this bill. Perhaps we should have. Okay, please keep the calls coming. I know there's a little difficulty in the network. These are some of the things we speak about. We pay our hard-earned money, and we cannot get value for the money that we pay, and nobody is worried. So, and this is not the government. These are private, establishments, private organizations, and so on and so forth, taking our hard-earned money. One thing I even found out, let me take this call and we'll talk about that. I believe there's a network problem, but just keep the calls coming. Persistence, like I say, is the watchword. If you keep on doing it, I'm sure at some point we'll be able to connect. So this is not the government doing this. This is a private thing. We pay our money, and I even find out that when you send an SMS, and I think it has a limit of the number of words you can use, because when I try to send messages and they are quite lengthy, they don't go, but the money is deducted anyway. What kind of service is that? It tells you it hasn't gone. It tells you it's not going to be delivered, but yet it tells you how much they have taken from your hard-earned money, and nobody is saying anything about it. Nobody thinks it's something to be questioned. This is not the government's. Someone called yesterday and said, we have a people's problem. Stop focusing on the government. Face the people. Yes, we face the people, not all the time, some of the time, and when that time comes, like now, We will face the people because the people need to understand that you cannot sit in a position and start to criticize the government if you have not done the right thing yourself, if you are not doing the right thing yourself. So you need to look inwards. We all need to look inwards. And I always say, let's continue to look inwards and see what we're doing. Hello, good morning. He connected.
Yeah.
What
Yes,
is,
I'm calling from Giwa Okiaro.
you're calling from where?
Giwa Okiaro.
Okay, Giwa Okiaro is in Lagos.
Yeah, that's for local government.
E4.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Soji.
Mr. Soji. Yes, go ahead and make your contribution.
Please, I want to know the main problem. I just on TV now. I don't know the topic we are taking this morning.
We're not treating any topic, Mr. Soji. So, there's no hurry. We're here till 10:30. You can just sit back, relax, watch the program, see what we're talking about, and then you can call us back. Because,
And another thing, I can hear we will make measure of sending message and cutting without any deliver the message.
yes, I talked about that right now.
In fact, that one is very, very, very fast, very dramatic, seriously. It's affecting me seriously. If I send, they charge me 6 naira, 95 kobo, 6 naira, 95, and the money is not delivered. I've sent message to them, but nobody is responding for the line. Nobody. Including all the line we have in Nigeria, that's how they do now. And the government is not intervening. Well, this one is not a matter of government issue now. It's an individual issue. Government will intervene into this situation.
How should the government intervene?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Number one, as we are speaking, I know that we have a government representative that will listen to your program and they hear the comment and the complaint of the people in the masses in Nigeria. And who take this into tell SPC that education to let them allow. Tell them, you people are just returning money for the civilian. And we as in Nigeria, we need something that we be enjoying, but no, we are not enjoying. For the next communication to return our money, and the message is not going. And they're telling us, okay, if the money, if we have 200 naira, they will be cutting, and at the end of the day, we will not get the result for that message. Please, if we can answer this issue, maybe all the telecommunication and everything will do something about it.
Okay, so thank you very much. You channeled that to the right quarters because that's what I was going to say. That we have we have monitoring bodies, and we expect that they do what they are being paid to do. Because Nigerians may not be able to complain because they already think it's a hopeless situation anyway, and that's not a good thing. But if leaders are comfortable with that, well, it's really on them, because I believe that as leaders, collectively and individually, you have your integrity to protect. So if it's okay, that things like this can pass, well, that's really on you. I see someone. Oh, okay. I thought it was Okwe that walked into the studio. Hello? Hello? Hello, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello? Hello? We lost that call. Okay, so, the necessary authorities, I think, should take charge, and do what they need to do so that at the end of the month, when you're earning a salary, you worked for it, you actually earned it. Nigerians should learn to stop collecting money for work not done. Work not done. When you collect that money, you think you're going to enjoy it, but it's only for a little while. Okay, so yes, we're still on that topic. Walkout rocks house as state police bill passes. And we had 3 riders for that story. We had protest erupts over controversial House vote. House Minority Caucus insists on rethink of state police. And opposition challenges state police funding plan. Okay, let's move on. Employees reject federal government's pension contribution hike. Death toll in Zamfara. Farmers attack rises to 23. So for me, this is a very important one. I'll take that again. Death toll in Zamfara. Farmers attack rises to 23. So the Zamfara farmers are attacked on a regular basis, and it's not just Zamfara farmers. Insecurity is everywhere, and it's Hello,
Hello.
good morning, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dollar from Kudu.
Mr. Ola from Okyodo. Okay, go ahead and make your contribution, sir.
I sent you a text message.
Oh, you sent us a text message. Do you want us to read the text message and deal with it, or you want to, since you're already online, do you want to just say what you sent as a text message?
No, I want to read it.
You want us to read it? Okay, thank you so much for calling and calling our attention to that text message. So we'll look at the text message at the appropriate time and we'll discuss it. In the meantime, we have another caller on the line. Hello? Okay. Let's see if we can take a look at Mr. Ola's message. Well, I don't know if this is Mr. Ola, but I have a message here saying, kindly show us the headlines of the newspapers. That's what we're doing, while we're taking the newspaper headlines, we're also showing the and someone says, oh, I think this may be Mr. Ola. Okay, I think this is a private one. It's nothing that we should share publicly, but it is something that has been caused by bad leadership. So I'm not going to read that message. I'm not going to read that message out. We'll just look at it, amongst ourselves, and see how we can respond to that message. Okay, let's see if there are any other messages here for us to attend to. Well, none that I can see right now. So we will be going back to the newspapers. Let's see. Okay, we have another call on the line. Hello, good morning, sir. I just guess it's a sir. Oh, we lost that. All right. I think we should just go back to the newspapers. Okay, so we're looking at the death toll of the Zamfara farmers. Someone just sent me a message. Can you tell us the name? The name of what, sir? Death toll in Zamfara farmers attack rises to 23. Not good news. What can the government do about these farmers being attacked, not only in Zamfara state, but, farmers generally? See, it's a ripple effect, just in case our leaders don't know that it has to be priority. This is not a Tabishugmo thing. There are no ifs or buts. It is compulsory that our farmers are well protected. Because if our farmers are not well protected, do not forget that Nigerians have not yet made it a habit to do individual farming. Our lives are so dependent on our farmers, whether we like it or not. And so if our farmers don't produce our crops, if they don't, produce these crops that will be brought to the markets for us to buy, there is a huge challenge. Let me hold that thought because we lost the call. And so we're calling on the government, to ensure that our farmers are safe. That's the bottom line of all of the long story. The government has to ensure that our farmers are safe, so that they can produce crops, they can plant, they can harvest these crops, so that these crops, this produce can get to the markets, so that the market people can sell these things to us, so that we can have food to eat. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm the Bishop Soji calling again.
Mr. Soji, okay. Yes, go ahead and make a contribution.
Concerning this family issue.
Yeah.
It's like the people that import food to Nigeria, they have hand in this issue. Because why they don't allow us to be produce something in our land? Why only our farmer every time? Now so that people the food will be less and they don't want anything to be less because of the money they're getting for the importation. So government should look into that. In fact, if every all the western region, northern, eastern, everywhere. Why is farmer? Why? We are producing rice, we are producing it now. The people that import food to Nigeria, they don't want this thing to be gathered together. They don't want it to be dependent anymore. They want to be stable on import food. And that's where I lose with it. Because why attacking our farmer when we are producing food? As soon as we are producing in Nigeria, the thing will less. But now when we import, government are going to put tax on it. So and then when they want to sell it to individual, they will increase the food. And why? That's the reason why they are attacking the farmer. And this insecurity, whether the government should do something about it. Because it's not just ordinary person. I can stand it. It's too much. It's too much. We go to Olusi right now. They say you go to Kogi, the same thing. You go to Ekiti, go to everything is farmer. Why? So okay, they want us to be staff in Nigeria, or to be begging before we eat, or to go to the country that's not up to us to be go there and buy the food for an higher price. After that, when you buy for higher price, the tax will be there. And when before you get the food of this Nigeria, the thing is spoiled. That's why we get many diseases in Nigeria. We are not getting all these before. Everything are just rising. Please, government will do something. Because they know that if they are security in the farmer, nobody can be able to attack them. Okay, where are they passing through? We have projects everywhere. We have the cost farm, we have everything, we have DLA, we have everything. What are they doing? And they are collecting money every month. They are not doing their work. Government is doing something about this. It's so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Soji. Well, your point has been made. I remember, we discussed this on the table when we were reading the newspapers, a couple of months ago, and government had reduced the tariff on importation of rice and some other food. And I immediately pointed out, I said that if the government does that, then that is going to kill our production, our local production, because it's not going to encourage them, because Nigerians are going to look out more for the imported rice because it's going to become more affordable, and that's going to put the effort of our farmers, at naught, or to naught. It's going to bring it to naught or put it at naught, So I remember saying that very strongly. And now we're talking about the insecurity of our farmers. So when Mr. Soji brings in this kind of suggestion, hello?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Ola.
Mr. Ola again, yes. Did you send in a private message?
Yes.
What's your full name, sir? Yeah, we've seen. Do you want me to read the message on air?
No.
Okay, so you weren't listening when I said we've seen the message. We will look at the message, and I said to Nigerians that it is something that this lack of good leadership has brought onto us as a people. But I'm not going to read out that message. I said we'll look at it after the program. I'm sure you don't expect me to be attending to that message at this time.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir. All right. Hello. Hello? Okay, so yes, reducing the tariff has encouraged the importation. So when Mr. Soji comes up with this, we've always said that when the governments are not explaining certain things, if they're not taking action, over certain things that should be priority, then they're leaving a vacuum. They're leaving there's a lacuna. And where there's a vacuum, something must fill that vacuum. Now, some of the things that will fill that vacuum are things like what Mr. Soji said, that he believes that people who are importing food have a hand in, our farmers being killed and our farmers, efforts being frustrated. Would you blame him? It's just a question. Would you blame him? So I'm not going to disregard what he said. I'm going to put it on the table. This is what Mr. Ola said. Does it make sense to some people? Is it something that one can actually look at and consider, to be, to make some sort of sense or to have some element of truth in it? I'm sure you want to look at it because nothing is being explained to us. Why are our farmers dying on a regular basis? Why are we not making their lives priority when we know that we need them? We don't want them. We need our farmers. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning. Okay, so yeah, Mr. Ola he may be right, he may be wrong, but however, I will, table his contribution, and I think it's very, very valid. Okay, so Enugu air incident forces Benin airport shut down. NSIB begins probe. And on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have the picture of a plane crash, and all the details we have in the newspaper. Okay, so much for the Punch newspaper. I'd like to go to the Nigerian Tribune. They're above the nameplate. 3 Orire kidnappers plead guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment. I remember when a couple of days ago, about a week ago, when we read the sentence, on the table, I was asking Okwe, I said, Okwe, are you satisfied? And he said, well, he's satisfied. And later on in the program, he said he doesn't think that a life imprisonment will, justifies what they did, and all of that, that he thinks they should have been given something worse. Okay, I don't know what you think, but this is what is in the Nigerian Tribune. 3 Orire kidnappers have pleaded guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment. Now, some people are of the opinion that, if they're sentenced to life imprisonment, there's a possibility, maybe a 1% chance, but there is a possibility that at some point, that they may make the parole list. They may be granted pardon. You never can tell. They may be granted state pardon. So there's some kind of panic in the air. People have been saying, oh, life imprisonment is a bit, too lenient. Some people think it should be, death by hanging. People have various opinions because they believe that, once a kidnapper, always a kidnapper. The fact that they can do what they did means that they have it embedded in them and they can do it again and again and again. So you don't need to keep them, in there somewhere. And, well, the Nigerian system, you never can tell. There may be, like Okwe always says, a jailbreak, because there have been a couple of jailbreaks. And of course, you know that not all the prisoners, were taken back to prison. Some of them made their way into the world somewhere, and never can tell. Some may be back in prison, but by committing other crimes. Any which way, well, at least something has been done. Something has been done. Okay, still on the Nigerian Tribune, OBJ tackles Oshoba on 2003 elections. The writers are denies deceiving AD governors and says ex-Ogun governor unaware of several political undercurrents. Well, the banner headline of the Nigerian Tribune, Tinubu approves expansion of Nigerian army to 12 divisions. And he okays recruitment of 28,000 personnel to strengthen national security. We talked about that already, and I am of the opinion that it's a good thing, a very, very good thing, because we need these numbers. We need even more numbers, but this is a step in the right direction. It's a good thing, but we need to do our due diligence to ensure that we are getting the right people into the Nigerian army. We're getting the right people, the kind of people we need, who are determined, to ensure the safety of lives and property of Nigerians. We are getting the people who actually have a passion for doing what they're about, the job they're about to take up, who would, take an oath to defend Nigeria, to defend Nigerians, and to make Nigeria a better place. By the grace of God, I hope that this project works out successfully. And I also hope that it's something that is done ASAP, because it's one thing to get an approval. It's another thing for it to go through the process, and then, the recruitment eventually done. And then, I am looking forward to, seeing these new officers start work ASAP. We're still on the Nigerian Tribune, and there's more. ADC to Tinubu, Trump's letter won't save you from die feet. I wonder what that story actually says. Okay, APC chieftain warned me not to contest against Tinubu in 2027. And that's coming from Makinde. I always say that Nigeria is a stage, and sometimes it's like we're just acting a script out. It's like we're acting a play. Things will unfold one episode to the other. You find all sorts of things that are, sometimes impossible, sometimes extraordinary, way out of this world, sometimes very funny, sometimes, for want of a better word, very nonsensical, because I don't want to use any strong word, things that, really don't add up, and in my opinion, this is one of those things that don't add up. The truth is that we had an open field. If that was actually our governor's wish and plan, I think he should have come out. If he thought that he had the strength, if he thought he could match Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our president, toe to toe. Okay, we have a caller on the line. Good morning, and where are you calling from? Yeah. Okay. So, I'm not quite sure what this statement means. Now, question is, if an APC chieftain did not tell you, not to come make an attempt to match our current president toe to toe in the next elections, you would have come out really, and where exactly do you think that would have put you? Okay, let's look at this next call. We don't have it anymore. The call is no longer there. Okay, please keep the calls coming. Keep trying. I know that at some point, we will get there. Okay, so to Governor Makinde, it would have been a nice thing to see you come out to contest against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I've seen also been a nice thing to see the number of people, who would have been in support of your ambition. But unfortunately, you've deprived us of all of that drama, because it would have been, very interesting to see. So please, next time, it will be nice for you not to listen to any APC chieftain, not to listen to anybody, but to do that which is paramount in your mind to do. All right, let's see if we can take this call. If we don't get cut off, we obviously have gotten cut off. The network is extremely bad today. But I'm so glad that, you're not getting disappointed, you're not getting despondent, you are persistent, which is one of the P's. And, we are appreciative that you are walking this entire journey with us this morning. Okay, it's still the Nigerian Tribune, and we know that on the Nigerian Tribune, we always have the health tip. And this one says morning coffee protects body from aging, and this is coming from scientists. I really don't know where the Nigerian Tribune gets its health tips, but for me, it's quite interesting. When they give us this little, I would like to call them tidbits. They give us these little tidbits from time to time. And I'm looking, who's telling us all of these things? Would have been a good thing to have an interview with whoever is coming up with all of these interesting things. So perhaps I'll start to have a cup of coffee every day. I'm not a coffee fan. I don't think I ever was. And I don't think I intend to be a coffee fan. But guess what? I don't want to age, if you understand what I mean. I want to, still be strong, still be able to do the things that I need to do for myself and for other people. So this coffee option, looks very attractive, but I don't think I'm going to do it. All right, we're still on the Nigerian Tribune. 311 reps support passage of state police bill as 15 lawmakers differ. Yes, where we have a group of people, we can all agree. But if it is true that there are certain procedures and processes that should have, been looked at and observed, then I think what we need to do, we need to do. But however, if that bill has been passed, who am I to sit on this table and say, go back and take a look at it? I really don't have the kind of powers to do that. But it's what is being served to us for breakfast on the Nigerian Tribune this morning, and we were presenting it. The Punch has presented the same thing. But, Nigerians will be all right. Our lawmakers will be all right. Okay, finally, from the Nigerian Tribune, we have mixed reactions as redistribution pattern. Okay, mixed reactions over redistribution pattern as Southwest leads VAT contributions. Okay, so we still have more. We have the NSIB begins investigation into Enugu air mishap at Benin Airport. All passengers safely disembarked, and that's coming from the airline. Thankfully, no life was lost. Police confirmed 15 dead as bandits attack Zamfara community. All right, that's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. Let's see if we can take this call, and then we'll call for another break, and then after that, we will continue. Unfortunately, we cannot take this call because we lost the call. So right now, I'd like to take another break to drink some water. Okpa is not here. I'm the only one here. I've been talking all this while. I really want to drink some water. And after that is done, we will return for more newspaper reviews.
There are stories that make the heart race. Where love is born in the most dangerous moments.
Ali was actually Poyraz Ali.
Each secret can destroy everything. Love. Passion. Power. Lies.
It's not the first time you let me down. It was my mistake for trusting an idiot like you.
The dramas that make you feel everything. Catch the sizzling episodes of Sins and Roses at 4 p.m, Domenica Monteiro at 5 p.m, Be My Sunshine at 6 p.m, and Avenida Brazil at 7 p.m, Central African Time. Only on Novelas Plus.
Numerous cases of people falling asleep have been reported across the African continent. No one can explain this phenomenon.
He's getting close. With 24/7 FIFA World Cup coverage, sleep can wait. Everything can wait. Get DSTV plus 1 month subscription now for only 15,000 naira.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us, up till now. The calls came in while we were on break, but we couldn't take any calls. Like to encourage our callers to keep the calls coming. For as long as we're on this table, we will endeavor to take the calls. Okay, I'm going to be looking at the Nation newspaper. In the last 2 days, we took two newspapers each. But today, this is our third newspaper, and it's the Nation newspaper. So the House of Representatives passes state police bill. And the writer for that is Aliyah Yusuf Upbeat. Private sector gets 22 trillion facility in 30 days, says CBN. Oil price hits $100 per barrel. UBA is Nigeria's best ESG retail bank, says Euromoney. 26,961 to get vocational training. Now, this is a good thing, When we see these things on paper, we are excited. So the CBN is saying that in 30 days, that the private sector is getting or will get 2.2 trillion naira. Now, one of the things that we expect the private sector to get is 26,961 people to get vocational training. Very good idea, very good idea. But we're on the Nation newspaper, My question is, how do they get this vocational training? How do we choose these people? How do they qualify? How do they register? How do they apply? How do we shortlist them? Is it the man, no man thing? Is it, who knows who? Is it a cabal thing? Is it a cartel thing? What is it? Is it transparent? Is it going to be on the table for anybody who is anybody, who is just somebody in Nigeria? Will they have an opportunity to apply even without knowing anybody and get shortlisted by merit? That's my question, and that's my greatest concern. It's not about the figures that we read on the newspaper. Those things don't excite me anymore, and I'm sure that by now some people know that I've made myself clear, on issues like this. They absolutely do not excite me anymore. What excites me is when you come back and say this thing was thrown open. We had 500,000 people apply, and we've taken 26,000 out of these people, to be part of this vocational training. How did they apply? How did, was it put in the newspapers? Was it announced on radio, television for just anybody? When they applied, how were they shortlisted? What was the criteria? What was the criteria for shortlisting these people? At the end of the day, the people that you have chosen, was it based on merit that they were chosen? These are the things that excite me when you come back and say that, we've taken this 26,000 X number of, what is the figure now? Okay, so anyway, we've taken a certain number of people and we've made it, we've made sure that they are actually, being rewarded because they are basically chosen on merit. For me, that's fine. For me, that will fly anytime. We're giving people who we don't know, and we're giving people who don't know anybody, who have absolutely no connection. We're giving them the opportunity to make, to make a future for themselves. We have a call on the line. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, we lost that caller. I think we're... Okay, so still on the newspaper review. So like I said, we are expecting that, people get these opportunities and, they're actually... so 26,961 people, that's the figure. I hope that they would be given a free hand to apply, a free hand, to go through the exams and the process, and at the end of the day, that the best men will be given that opportunity. Well, on that note, I'd like to say congratulations in advance to, these people who are being given these opportunities, and we hope that they will make the best of these opportunities so that, hopefully, the next batch of people would be double in number and would be, given even better opportunities than they have been given because of their performance this time. We always want to seize the opportunities and seize the moment to put in our best so that we can, open doors for other people who are coming behind us. All right, we're still on the Nation newspaper. Oshun 2026, Ambo. I ended half salary payment as finance commissioner. SDP warns against hijack of party structure. Group rallies electorate against peaceful election. 3 Ansaru terrorists linked to Orire abductions get life jail. Presidency, Obasanjo hits Atiku for U.S. adventure disloyalty. And the writers for that story, petition to Trump undermines Nigerian sovereignty. Ex-president, he plotted against me. All right, so Nigeria is at it again. The thing about Nigeria is that when we go to bed talking about one thing, the next day we wake up and we start to talk about something entirely different. As I'm wondering, in all of the things that Nigeria has to deal with at the moment, do we really think that this is what we need to be discussing about somebody reporting, Nigeria to the United States of America and somebody saying somebody was not fair to me, somebody cheated me, someone was disloyal to me, and, all of those things. I'm not going to waste my time talking about that. Tinubu expands army to 12 divisions and OK's hiring of 28,000 officers. Ilori, Benin, Jalingo, Makurdi to host new military formations. And the bottom strip front page is panelists at Jakonde lecture seek credible polls and the Nigerian killed in South Africa. All right, let's look at these two last stories. Panelists at Jakonde lecture seek credible polls. I really wish we can have credible polls. I am hopeful that we will have credible polls. But if we look at what we read yesterday as a newspaper headline, where the INEC chairman was saying that he was helpless, I'm kind of worried. I've started having palpitations concerning the 2027 elections. Will it be free, fair, and credible? I cannot answer that question right now, because if our INEC leadership is saying that they are helpless, or if the INEC itself, is being seen as a body that is helpless, how do we expect that the 2027 elections would pan out? For me, I have started nursing some great deal of fear that it may not pan out the way Nigerians are hoping it will. Nigerians are looking to see a free, fair, and credible election come 2027, the kind that has never, ever happened in Nigeria. And what I'm trying to say is that in terms of everything will beat the elections that we have, we had earlier termed free, fair, and credible, that whatever election we will have in 2027 would be seen as, the utmost, and the ultimate, attempt at having a free, fair, and credible election. So we're looking to see, Nigerians go to the polls, and wait at their polling booths, ensure that their votes are counted, and the figures that are seen at the polling booth are the figures that are submitted, So all of these things we expect to see in the 2027 elections. But I don't know. I really don't know how it will pan out. Everybody is hopeful. Journalists are hopeful. Everybody is hopeful that the 2027 elections will turn out well. But we can't listen. The Yorubas would say that if you don't sleep with money, you don't wake up with money. If you don't prepare, if you don't have preparations in top gear, and you're not putting everything you need to put on ground, you don't expect to have the end results, turn out the way we Nigerians are expecting. For example, you say that you're helpless, especially when it comes to campaigns for the 2027 elections, which should break in August of 2026 and had started 2 years ago. Absolutely nothing could be done by INEC. They say they are helpless. I expected that report yesterday to have carried a completely different headline. It would have been such a nice and beautiful thing for INEC to come out and say we're sanctioning parties who have broken the rules, who have broken the laws, who have been campaigning even before the campaigns should break. The deadline, the campaign, they have been doing these things for years. And so we as an independent national body are coming out to say we are sanctioning party X, we are sanctioning party Y, we are sanctioning party Z. Or if it is just one party, we're sanctioning party A. INEC did not come out to say that. INEC came out to say that they're helpless. And so how can we Nigerians sit and fold our hands and say that we're going to have a credible, a free and fair election in 2027? We can't sit down here and wave a magic wand to make it happen. We individually and collectively can come together to ensure that we do our best. I'm not saying to make it happen. We may not be able to make it happen, but let's do our best. Let's do our humanly possible best. Let's give it our best shot, and let's see if that would work. You never can tell. And finally, the Nation newspaper, we looked at the story about the Nigerian that was killed in South Africa. Again, you know, in one breath, South Africa is apologizing and saying, Nigerians, please come back and, you know, invest in South Africa. But, you know, you're still killing our people. And I don't know when this jealousy, when this disunity, when this hatred will stop. It's quite unfortunate, because if there's any country that South Africans should be in love with, it should be Nigeria. Nigeria sacrificed for South Africa. Nigerian workers sacrificed part of their salaries to ensure that South Africa gained its freedom. The president of South Africa can be president of South Africa today because South Africa eventually gained its freedom, you know. And so if there's one country they should be making reference to, in my opinion, it's Nigeria, because Nigeria did so much for them. But, you know, the reverse is the case. And that's why we say that as human beings, you know, we should not expect too much from any human being. If you're doing things for people, to help them, to make them more comfortable, just do it because you know that it's part of the reason why you are existing anyway, to ensure that your neighbor is well, you know, as well as you are well, because none of the holy books said, you know, take care of your neighbor, don't take care of yourself. It's about taking care of yourself and taking care of your neighbor and making sure that, you know, together you're moving, you're climbing the ladder. South Africa do not realize this, but like I said, I always like to be patient. Patience is one of the P's that I spoke about. I said patience, persistence, and perseverance. So let's be patient, because with patience, there's always something to look out for. There's always something you will gain at the end of it. So let's be patient as we watch things unfold. But one thing I am sure about, one thing I have no regrets, you know, saying this morning, one thing I will take full responsibility for if anyone asks me any questions, is the fact that South Africa will regret the fact that it has treated Nigerians in such a manner. It's not about the begging aspect of it now. They can beg all they want, but deep inside them as individuals, deep inside them, you know, collectively as a country, there will be a huge regret. Because you know, and I'm not saying this because I'm taking side with Nigerians or because I'm Nigerian, you know, in any way. I'll take this call. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Kosu.
Where are you calling from? Okay, we lost that call. So, yeah, you know, I just said that, yeah, there's sure going to be a whole lot of regrets. And, you know, the begging has only just started. It's not even gotten anywhere. The begging is not going to be just, you know, so unceremoniously done. It's going to, you know, they're going to go through the appropriate process, the appropriate, you know, channel to tender an apology to Nigeria and Nigerians. That I will not apologize for, because I know that really and truly, first of all, we deserve it. We not only deserve it, we will get it. You know, it will happen, and when it does happen, I will come back to the table to say that it did happen, you know. So much about South Africa. Let's see if this call will go through. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Breakfast Show. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma.
Welcome to the Breakfast Show. What's your name and where are you calling from? Okay. Where are you calling from, Mrs. Susan?
I am coming from Sokoto.
From Sokoto. Okay, go ahead and make your contribution. Okay, the point at which I'm asking people to make their contribution is the point at which, we lose the call all the time. I don't know whether that is intentional. I don't know whether it's a network problem, but whatever it is, I just want to appeal to our callers. Keep the calls coming. Let's just be persistent about what we're doing. Okay, so we're done with the Punch newspaper, the Nigerian Tribune. We're done with the Nation newspaper. I think we can take a look at Daily Trust right now, but we need to be conscious of the time. Okay, we still have some time on our hands, and still looking forward to, Okwe coming to the studio so that we can use some of his reports before we round up. The Daily Trust, kidnappers of Oyo school children and teachers bag life sentence. First of all, I need to commend the court for accelerating the hearing of this case. I don't know why I didn't do that, because somewhere in my mind I thought I had done it, but I realized I haven't done it. For hearing this case and accelerating the hearing of this case, and of course giving judgment ASAP. I must say, well done. And I wish our courts could be, as proactive as this all the time. All right, I have treated 15 patients, and this is suspected fake doctor. How do you start to number the patients that you have treated? I don't understand. Why would you be counting the number of patients that you've treated? As a medical doctor, I think you should have lost count depending on when you started to practice. So even I would like to see the outcome of this investigation, because I want to believe that investigations have started, on this matter. All right, good morning. Lost that call as well. Okay. Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, Tinubu approves recruitment of 28,000 personnel and 4 new army divisions. I would have loved to stop taking calls because I'm getting frustrated, but I will just keep trying. I'll be persistent. All right, the banner headlines for the Daily Trust newspaper: transport fares rise as petrol hits 1,400 naira. Oh, no. Opposition lawmakers protest as reps pass state police bill. Bandits kill 23 farmers and others in Zamfara. NSIB launches probe as Enugu airplane skids off Benin runway. Army launches manhunt for soldiers selling uniforms to terrorists. And I think that's one thing that we should focus on, looking for the source. We're having too many incidents of fake army men, fake policemen. How do they get the uniforms? I think we should trace the source. Once we trace the source, I'm not saying it's going to eradicate the problem. I'm not saying it's going to, take care of the problem completely, but I'm saying that it is a step in the right direction. I'm saying also that is the first step, to take. Because before a child starts to walk, run, it starts to crawl, and then it starts to take a first step. The first step is an indication that child will be able to walk, will be able to run, will be able to jump, will be able to do all manner of things. So yes, I think that this first step is very important in this regard. We must ensure that we find the person who's supplying, the supplier of army uniforms, the supplier of police uniforms, bring them to book, let them face the full wrath of the law, make it public, let people know what's going on, who these people are, and, let them also experience, the kind of things that their actions, eventually, make people experience, because when you sew these clothes or you supply these clothes to these people or these uniforms to these people dress up, and act as policemen, army men, and all of that. And sometimes they kill people. Sometimes they dispossess them, of their valuables. Sometimes they just treat them brutally because they're in uniform, and everybody knows that it is right to respect officers, especially when they're wearing their uniforms. And the eventual fallout of these actions are not too pleasant. So sometimes it will be nice to turn the tables around and make these people, feel the pains that other people have felt due to, their contribution in one way or the other. Okay, I don't know if we'll have enough time, but let's, make an attempt to look at the Guardian newspaper. We have a caller on the line. Let's hope that, even if this is our last call, let's hope that the call will go through. Hello, good morning. Oh, Mr. Soji, yeah, welcome again.
First thing, the people giving issue, to show the tailor that they added the police fabric. I don't know, is it state to state or federal that appointed them? If it is state by state, okay, the people in Ondo State, Osun State, Lagos State, they should know how many people that they request for them to sew. That's to sewing textile, that's the uniform too. And if they issue out more than what they are requesting for, they should be queried. Understand? Another thing is that I know that we have many fake tailor outside now. You can be sewing in the bush here and distribute to them. But you can see the trace. I know. You can see the trace. When this thing is given out, okay, when are they pushing the textile? They put the textile in rows. And now when containers are just moving from one place to another, our customers need to put eyes on each container anymore. You can't just allow container because it's carrying textile. You just go, maybe the textile company, trace that container where the container is ready to. And check what is there. Maybe they can wrap it with a normal textile, and inside might be our officer's fabric. Please, let government put that on it. Because if they started punish, you can be punished person that is not offending for what is not doing. So, the place that where the offender is somewhere enjoying himself or herself. So, government will look into it. Start from the beginning, from the textile, where they put that textile, which company that is supplying, and with the container that is distributing. I know you cannot be putting that textile on head now and be carrying up and down. It's not possible because it's heavy. It's by row. And the row is heavy. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much, Mr. Soji. I listened to what you said, with rapt attention, and I'm trying to figure in my head, it may not be that easy. It may not even be from the tailors of the uniforms. It may be, tailors completely outside, like you said, in the bush. It may be something done in secret. In fact, if it is not the tailors that produce the regular army uniforms and police uniforms, then obviously it will be done, when I say in the bush, I mean in secrecy. It will be done when other people don't know. It's going to be extremely difficult to trace where they purchase the materials from. It's going to be difficult even to trace, the people who are supplying these things. But can they do it? Trust me, Nigerian armed forces, Nigerian police, they can do it. They can investigate. I'm telling you, our intelligence is second to none, honestly. And so I know that we're going to be getting updates on reports from this story as we go along. And of course, we'll be presenting these things to you, without keeping anything to ourselves. So, Mr. Soji, be rest assured, it's going to be a difficult task, but I'm sure that it will be done, and it will be done thoroughly. All right, let's see what we can take from the Guardian newspaper before it's time for us to call it a day on the breakfast. Oh my, we don't even have any time left anymore. Okay, so I think it's time for us to round up. It doesn't make any sense to even start taking anything from the Guardian newspaper. It's time for us to round up on the show. Right now, I am not happy one bit that Okpe was not able to make it into the studio. And I am really, really reaching out to the Ogun State government. You know, they need to be more proactive. I had already said it at the beginning of the program. I don't even want to I don't want to say anything about the Ogun State government because I know that it's just falling on deaf ears. And I know that it's not as if they don't know these things to do. I'm not even asking the governor to do it himself, but what we're saying is that he should be on top of his show. This is his show to run. It is his responsibility to be responsible for the people of Ogun State, whether they're commuting, whether they're residing, whether they're working, you know, whatever they're doing. Now, look at the accident. I think Okpe has sent in this report, even though he's not able to be here. And I think we will also look at it on Monday and see how we can contribute our own quota. This is not funny. This is not nice. Or I see the Ogun State have sent their traffic maintenance people to be at the scene right now, but they didn't come in time. Who's in charge? Who's supposed to be doing what and is not doing it? You know, all of these things, it could be quite disheartening when these things are not done as and at when due. And especially when there's something or someone or some group of people that you can compare to. We look at the swift response of the Lagos State officials. We look at, you know, the achievements of the Lagos State governor and see what he's doing for his people. Having to call on the Lagos State governor in something that happened really in Ogun State, even though it can be termed the boundary, you know, is really not a good thing. We should be able to say, oh, this happened in Ogun State. We are calling on the governor of Ogun State to do it. But, you know, it is what it is. It's not a good thing to say, but we have to say it anyway. We're expecting, you know, much more from the Ogun State government, which means the collective government, you know, and the leadership of Ogun State as well. Well, on that note, I would round up this edition of the program. Okpe is not here, and so he's not going to be able to sign off, but I would like to, you know, say one or two words to Okpe. Okpe, just know it that Nigeria is happening to you the same way it's happened to a lot of people. It's not a pleasant thing, and it's never a pleasant thing. But you see, it's only when it happens to people like you that, you know, that these kind of things will be brought to the fore, and perhaps, you know, some action will be taken. So yes, I believe that there's a reason for which you've gone through what you've gone through. As long as you're alive, safe and well, you know, everything will be fine. And looking forward to having you in the studio on Monday, where we can do a thorough, you know, review of what you went through today. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't keep going through these kind of things every day coming from that axis. It's not pleasant. On this note, I'd like to say to everyone who's been watching the program, let's hope that, you know, you do have a good weekend. And for those who have been stuck in this traffic, who are probably just, you know, cursing and, you know, unhappy about what they're going through, we just say to you, be patient. Hopefully something is being done and will be done faster than you expect, and you'll be out of it as soon as possible. Thank you to everyone who has called on the program. Thank you to the one who's still calling, you know, as we speak. Thank you for making it a complete package. Feedback instant, you know, and, you know, it's been a great thing to be sitting on this table. I will round up by saying, please take a look at yourself in the mirror. Stand in front of that mirror and look at yourself. If you need to change anything about yourself, please do it ASAP. Change it as soon as possible, because, you know, if you are that person that, you know, you should be, you will pair with someone else and another person, and the world will be a better place to live in. My name is Tom Adirele. Thank you for watching the program. We hope to see you again on Monday. We'll be back, you know, bright and early, as Okpe always says, to present another edition of the Breakfast Express Show. Until then, have yourselves a good weekend, and we'll see you on Monday by the grace of God. Bye.